we need to have a true conversion experience. Let me explain. There comes a time when we have to say enough is enough. We are not allowing our earthly strongholds or family of origin experiences or any issue that's keeping you in the basement or the or darkness. It's time to call on Jesus, because the Bible tells us all we have to do is call on his name and the enemy will flee. I call this the bondage experience, right? This is a public display, not only to self, but to the world. I no longer is going to be held down by any past issues. I no longer going to be held down by pornography. I will no longer be held down by unresolved family of origin experiences. I will become even-minded. I will become like-minded like Jesus. And from that point on, brethren, I want you to really listen to this. Next, you will find yourself in the wilderness, similar to our brothers back in Numbers. Also, you can find it in book of Exodus. For 40 years, our brethren was in the wilderness, and a lot of them perished. It is the wilderness experience when we have this cosmic battle between the flesh and the spirit. The flesh wants to go back to our old ways, but the spirit is marching forward. We have to choose this day, as Joshua said in Joshua chapter 24, verse 14 to 16. He said not only to himself, but to those around him, I don't know about you, but as for me and my house, he's talking about his family. He's also talking about his faculties, his eyes, his senses, his nose, his mouth, his hands, his ears. We are going to serve the true God. So we're marching forward, forgetting those things that are behind, but we're marching forward in the newness of Jesus. So when we go through the wilderness experience, we approach the altar of sacrifice, and we remember that Jesus died for us at the cross. And 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 21 tells us that we have to follow his example. We also learn in the book of John, 1 John, it tells us that if we abide with Jesus, then we need to walk as he walked. As a matter of fact, we need to talk like he talked. We also need to think like he did. Paul tells us in Philippians chapter 2 verse 5, let this mind of Christ be in you. That means we have an opportunity, a free choice to think like Jesus. Now, Philippians chapter 2 verse 8 tells us we are capable of doing that in obedience. In other words, we are to obey the 10 commandments. We are to obey every word that comes out of God's mouth. You remember, Jesus' Bible says in Matthew 4:4, Jesus says, man cannot live by bread alone, but by every word that comes out of God's mouth. So if God said it, we want to become even-minded, I will obey it. I want to achieve higher heights, I will follow God. I want to become a better husband, I will listen to sweet Jesus. I want to become a holistic father, I will walk as Jesus walked, talk as Jesus talked. I'm going to think higher and walk taller.